Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Lydia with Raindrop Lila, and today we're going to continue working on this journal cover. I'm going to be doing some more stitching, and I think I'm going to start working with this flower right here, and I have a couple different petals or pink petals that I can work with. Now some of these are on a darker background than this one. So this is on a white background, but that's okay because I'm going to be cutting it out. So I don't think that's going to matter. You know what? I'm gonna just overlap it on here so I can move it once I'm done with cutting them out. Okay, so I have all my pieces right here. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of figure out the size of my journal. So I have my papers here that actually I printed these for this journal, but that's okay. I just need to kind of see how big it's gonna be. Yeah, I think I'm going to just keep it at about the size of the inside. Okay? Of the pink, this pink felt. And so this right here, I can technically just fold it over. So that would be the edge, something like that. Okay, so we're going to start with, maybe I should start with the bigger petal right here. And let's see. Well, this one I just did some slow stitching through it, and again I just kind of made little gathers. So that's kind of the idea. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, so one of my embroidery threads Okay, so I'm using embroidery thread, and I think what happened is one of them broke, and so it just all got tangled up, but that's okay. I'm just gonna tie this up right here and just move on. So what I did was I actually separated my embroidery thread. Here's my other piece. I separated it in half, so I have 3 strands each, but this one somehow it broke and it didn't pull through, so I'm just gonna go with 2 strands, so that's gonna be fine. Okay. I was also going to mention that my friend Cheryl actually recommended these embroidery needles. And so I picked them up from Amazon. They're really inexpensive. And so this is what I'm using. You can use whatever you have, but I think I had some really inexpensive needles that I was using, and they were kind of getting all bent up and out of shape. And these ones are a lot more sturdy. Like I could tell, they're just doing a lot better. And these are fairly inexpensive. I think they were like $2 for the pack, and I think it was also free shipping. So this was a really good deal. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I'm kind of making the little tucks as I'm sewing them, and now before I finish this, actually I'm going to cut off, I see a little dark spot right there, so I'm just going to cut it. And what I'm going to do next, I'm actually going to grab another flower. And you don't have to do this, but I think I want to layer it underneath, so I give it a little bit more dimension. And I'm going to just kind of piece it on there. And I don't need the full, like the whole part of the flower. I'm just going to use the tip of it. And so see, I just cut off part of it, right? Because I don't need the whole piece. So I'm just kind of manipulating it with my hands a little bit as I kind of sew it. And I think I'm going to create some more stitching in here, just some basic stitches to kind of give it some more dimension. Okay, I'm going to try to pull this. I can see this little quarter, so what I'm going to do is pull it in a little bit. I'm kind of looking and trying to figure out where I want to add more stitching. Okay, so I'm just making little stitches on here. My camera actually, the battery died, so I had to switch the battery. And so now I was going to say that I'm creating little stitches, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to kind of keep in mind where you would have shadows. But really it's just creating texture on the petals, and you can go as detailed as you'd like on this. So I'm trying to build up a little bit higher on the edges, and then it kind of dips a little bit. I don't think there's a rule. I'm just kind of looking at it and kind of deciding where I want to go a little bit heavier or denser with the stitches. Okay, so here's how it looks so far. And let's see, I think this is too short to keep using it. I think it'll... Okay, so now I'm going to keep going and doing the same thing with this petal. Okay, so since I ended up using just 2 strands from my embroidery thread, I'm going to do the same with this one. And so I'm going to separate it. You don't have to separate it. If you don't separate it, you'll have a thicker stitch. But I kind of like it. I like it. I like the size too. I think that they have their purpose. So if you want a bolder look, then you can go with more strands. But Okay, now I'm kind of filling in more with tiny little stitches because I love the texture. Let's see. I love that texture. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this one here now. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking to start with this one this time and see how it goes. Maybe it's better to start up here. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I tied the whole thing on here. I think I just want to... I just want to use 2 strands. I like the way that looks a little bit better, and it kind of... There we go. Okay, so I'm just tying off. I didn't want to tie them both together, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm just kind of trying to stitch little gathers on here. So that it kind of ruffles up. Okay, and then let's see. I see a little black piece right there. I think it's harder to see when you're just cutting it out. But then when I put it on top of here, I can see it because everything's lighter on here. Okay, let's see how. You know what? I'm going to cut part of this tip because it's a little bit, it kind of has like, it's smaller, so I want it to be a little bit wider. Okay. So I'm just kind of manipulating the fabric so that it has like little pleats, and that's what gives it dimension. I keep forgetting to pull the whole thread through. See that? Look at that. I'm going to go back down now. I usually turn it so that I think I feel more comfortable stitching from like right to left, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to turn it again. Oh, it just came out. I'm going to just tie it off here and get a longer piece because this is just too short for me. Okay, now I think I want to go in and add more stitching for that extra texture. So I want to make it denser at the bottom. And it doesn't matter to me that I'm going kind of outside the petal, the second petal. So I'm going to just go right over the cover and just keep stitching. See if I can show you. Okay, so I'm okay with just kind of like going outside the petals that are cut out and stitched on here. Oops. Got tangled up on the back. Come on. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. Maybe I'll go a little bit up here too, actually. Okay, I'm really liking all the stitching. I think that it gives it so much texture and it looks so pretty. Okay, now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this petal because it kind of is on the edge. You know, I think I can scrunch it up a little bit and make it fit within this part, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to start here again. Or should I start up here? Maybe I'll start up here. Okay, so I'm going to start where the felt part is at, the felt underneath, because I want to scrunch it up a little bit. And I'm going to move it up also, kind of like that. I think it's a little bit trickier when it's closer to the edge. Okay, so I have my embroidery thread and I am pulling out two strands. Now you can use regular string too. I just happened to buy the embroidery thread to use because I also want to actually do some of those French knots in the middle, and so that was kind of my idea. And so I wanted to just use this, and I wanted to pick the colors also. Although they probably have a lot of thread that you could match your colors to. And it doesn't have to be perfect because if you get it somewhat close, I think that it'll work. I'm going to pull this out right here so I don't have to bother with it. I just did this stitch to hold everything together so that it makes it easier when I do my stitching But I don't need it there now. I think it's going to be fine. I think I need to pull out one more. So I'm going to keep building up with stitching right here between like the part of the flower that is the petal that's dimensional and then the petal that's just on the cover. Okay, so this petal right here, I'm not gonna add texture to it, or I'm not gonna sew this one on here because it's not needed. This will be the edge of the page, but I'm gonna fill in a little bit with the stitching. I think that'll look good. I'm going to fill in also any empty spots so that I have a lot of stitching where the flower, like this bottom of the flower, I want to have it kind of full of stitching. Okay, so I think that this flower is pretty much done. You know what, maybe I'm going to add some more stitching to this first petal because I feel like I feel like it needs a little bit more maybe. It's fine as it is, but I think it'll be better. I was also going to say that if you picked up one of my kits, I had two different journal maker kits. I had the blue one, which is exactly what I'm working on now, and then I had a pink one, which looks like this. And if you watch my last video, I show you guys what's included. This one doesn't have the fabric where you actually do this with the fabric, where you actually create the texture. But I was going to say that you can definitely slow stitch the flowers like I'm doing here. to add more texture, but just with the stitching. I think that would be great. So I have just one kit left in my Etsy shop. If anybody was interested in it, if you didn't get a chance to pick one up. It was actually, somebody accidentally purchased it twice. And so, even though I did the return, Etsy didn't update my listing until afterwards, like a good, like a day later or whatever. But so I still have one in my shop, but yeah, you can actually do the slow stitching like this right over the flower, or if you have your own floral fabric, you can definitely do it on any floral fabric. Okay, so there's the flower. I think it looks really good. So this would be the back, just like that. So that's what we worked on. This is the first one we worked on, the first flower. And then this one was today's. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy this. Please let me know if you guys enjoy this and if I should continue doing it. I feel like a lot of the process is a little bit the same, but I still am going to work on some of these flowers. If you guys want me to do another video, let me know, and I'll hold off from finishing this and I'll record it. So you guys can kind of hang out with me if you guys wanted to see how I stitch the rest of the flowers. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.